Okay, so get ready because we're going deep today.
Deep?
Yeah, really deep. We're talking about death and birth,
Wow.
but not like you learned in biology class.
No.
We're taking a different approach this time.
I like it.
We're using these really old writings that talk about these huge concepts, but like from a spiritual perspective. And they bring up some seriously interesting questions, like what actually happens to your consciousness when you die?
Ooh.
And why do these ancient texts describe the physical body in such a negative way? Like it's something you have to escape from.
Huh. That is interesting.
So let's jump right into it. Okay, so this text right off the bat says that death is basically the destruction of consciousness.
Okay.
And that really struck me because it's not about your heart stopping or anything physical. It's about something way deeper ceasing to exist.
Yeah, for sure. I think that definitely changes the way you think about death, right? It makes you question what death even means. Like if it's not just the body shutting down, then what is it?
Exactly. It's like, what if our actions and choices don't matter in the grand scheme of things if consciousness is just gone? But then the text throws in this whole other idea, these winds that influence what happens to your consciousness after you die.
Winds.
The winds of extinction, transmigration, and consciousness correspondences. Sounds pretty out there, I know.
No. Yeah, it's almost poetic.
So how would you interpret these winds?
Well, I think it's best to see them as metaphors, you know?
Okay.
They represent the forces that guide what happens to us after we die, at least according to these ancient traditions.
Right.
And each wind has a specific meaning. For example, the wind of transmigration made me think of reincarnation. Like maybe it's the force that carries your consciousness to your next life.
Oh, I see. That makes sense.
It's like a spiritual GPS guiding you through the unknown.
Wow, that's fascinating. Okay, so we have these winds guiding consciousness away from the body.
Right?
But the text keeps describing the body in this really harsh way. It calls it a fire, a burden, even foolishness. It's like it's something we should be happy to get rid of.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It's almost like the body is an obstacle.
Right. And I have to say, I find that kind of unsettling, you know?
Well, I think this negativity toward the body is because the text sees a separation between the body and the soul.
Okay.
It's like how some religions view the body as a temporary container for the soul, something that holds us back from true enlightenment.
That makes sense. Like a caterpillar can't fly until it sheds its skin.
Yeah, exactly. The body is necessary for life in this world, but it might also limit us.
Interesting. So we have these winds guiding consciousness away from the body, which is seen as a burden. But where does it go? And what about birth? Where does that fit in?
Well, that's where karma comes in. This text says that birth is a result of blessed karma, which immediately makes you think about past lives and how our actions affect our current circumstances.
It definitely seems like it's hinting at reincarnation.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, and I think that blessed part is really important. It means that birth, even with all its difficulties, is seen as a good thing. Okay. Maybe it's a chance for us to learn, evolve, and ultimately escape from this cycle of death and rebirth.
And so, according to this text, the circumstances of our birth aren't just random.
Right. They're shaped by our actions in past lives, specifically by something called prarabdha karma.
Prarabdha karma. So basically, our past actions determine our current life.
Exactly. It's all connected.
It's a lot to think about.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder about free will versus destiny. But before we get too sidetracked, let's come back to our main question.
Okay.
What actually happens to consciousness after death?
Yeah, good point. So we've explored these metaphorical winds, the body as a temporary vessel, and the role of karma.
Right.
But the text still defines death as the destruction of consciousness. So if it's really destroyed, then what does that mean for the soul's journey?
It's a question that humans have been asking forever. Is there an afterlife? Do we just cease to exist? I don't think this text gives us a clear answer. But it definitely makes you think.
It really does.
So this deep dive has given us a glimpse into this fascinating perspective on death and birth.
And there's so much more to explore.
I encourage you to keep thinking about these ideas and see how they connect with your own beliefs and experiences.
Yeah.
Because maybe if death truly is the end of consciousness, then the real journey is the one we take while we're still alive. You know, while we still have the chance to experience things, learn and grow.
Absolutely.
And leave our mark on the world.
I like that.
All right. So that wraps up our deep dive for today. Thanks for joining us.
See you next time.
And until next time, keep exploring.
Keep wondering.
And keep questioning.
Yeah, don't be afraid to ask the big questions.
Absolutely.
The really big ones.
Okay, that's it for today.
Bye.
Bye.